I'm getting a lot of messages, a lot of inboxes, and a lot of people are saying, "What you doing writing another Jack the Ripper book? Everything's been done before." So yeah, that is pretty true. But anyway, I'm writing a book at the minute called "There's Something About Whitechapel," which is what one of my heroes quoted in 2005. Morrissey stood on the scales on the stage, and he said, "Scales." I'm thinking of boxing there. Stood on the stage and he said, "There's something about Whitechapel, not much, but something." Now, this book, yes, there's a lot of Jack the Ripper elements in it, but there's also a lot of other greatly interesting bits. When I think of the Cockney, I think of West Ham. Like Alf Garnett, Chaz and Dave, Pie and Mash, um, Jelly Deals, Cockney rhyme and slang, apples and pears. Funny you should say that. What I mentioned earlier was Chaz and Dave. They actually weren't even proper Cockneys. Now, to be a proper Cockney, you've got to supposedly be born under the within the sounds of the Bow Bells, that's kind of Bow, Marlen, Whitechapel, Stepney, all them kind of places, Bethnal Green. And Chaz and Dave, one of them was from North London, one's from Middlesex. So that totally ruins the myth, really. When I found that out, I was quite upset because I love Chaz and Dave, and when you see them, they're all London this and London that, and they're not even actually proper Londoners. But anyway, the Whitechapel, probably my most favourite place on the planet, or one of them. And there's a lot of interesting people that have come out of the place. There's quite very famous ones like Jack Spot Comer, the Jewish East End gangster. Obviously Jack the Ripper, lots of suspects, although we don't know who Jack the Ripper was. Muzzy Is It, the Leicester City footballer. Damon Albarn from Blair. Ashley Cole, footballer. But yeah, obviously, it is quite linked with crime. The Cray twins are from the next area. And the Jack the Ripper murders, back in 1888, the first ever paper sold 1 million copies did so with Jack the Ripper on the front. And so the world back in 1888 was, all eyes were on Whitechapel. And a lot of the residents will always be upset and think, why does Whitechapel, this great little area of London, be only connected with serial killers? Which is, I get it, but at the same time, it also is part of its social history. Lots and lots of people from Gary Webster, EastEnders actor, he's from Whitechapel. Lots of famous people, actually, who are not from Whitechapel, but they're associated. Now, there's a guy called Captain Cook, Captain James Cook from Middlesbrough. He was around in the 18th century, 17 something. Now, he's known to be probably the most famous person ever from Middlesbrough, after Lee Duffy, of course, and after Chris Rea, who I'm greatly interested in. And Captain James Cook is known to kind of become from Middlesbrough, but then move away. The wife's just ruined this video. Gia shouting, "Jamie, your tea's ready." Like I'm a kid. Yeah, 2 minutes. But Captain Cook, going back, is famous for being brought up in Middlesbrough, but then getting as far away as he possibly could with, Australia and all this kind of stuff. But he actually moved to Marlen Road, and he lived in Whitechapel from 1764 to about 1779 or something. Anyway, but yeah, this book, lots of it's going to be, why do we find, to answer your question, because I'm getting a lot of questions. Oh, there's 250, 300 books. What is a little fat knobhead who looks like a lesbian gonna ever do to write a book like this? And listen, I could never hold a torch to people like Richard Jones, who, in my opinion, is the world's #1 Jack the Ripper expert. Your Paul Beggs, your Stuart Evans, your Mick P. Presley's, Lindsay Siverters, Martin Fido, God rest him, Donald Rumbelow. They are the elite. The wife shouting. Anyway, yeah. So this is going to be Jack the Ripper, London, Cockney, East End, Charles and Dave, Ramslang, West Ham, Pie and Mash, all this kind of stuff. We're going to be looking at Whitechapel, 134 years on. What's the interest? I mean, as I said, I've spoken to a lot of people who I've greatly fascinated. A lot of famous people. Russell Brand, fascinated Jack the Ripper. Martin O'Neill, spoke to him personally. There's so many. Kelly Osbourne, and so I'm not going to be, because I was in the Middlesbrough paper about 5 months ago, and Richard Jones told me about Middlesbrough's link with Jack the Ripper, so I told the Gazette. The Gazette done a story on it, and everyone was uproar. Oh, Jamie Boyle, fat lesbian knobhead. He thinks he's solved Jack the Ripper. I do not, but I'm going to put a book out there which will be extremely knowledgeable and very, very different. What? Yeah, 2 minutes. I'm sure she knows. She's just normally my dog sabotages these videos, but Mrs. Boyle has ruined this. But just put a recap. This this book is going to be very, very different to any book that's ever been, because we're looking at London, Whitechapel, Jack the Ripper in 2022. So we're looking at 134 years on. That the greatest ever whodunit, the greatest mystery, the Everest of British. I'm thinking of boxing again. Everlast is a make. So the Everest of British true crime. No one really knows who done it. I'm not out there. I'm not going to bullshit you and say, I know who done it, because I do not. And neither do the biggest ripperologists in the world. What's a ripperologist? Clues in the name. But we're going to be having a look about all things London, all things East Endish. And I'm quite excited. This is a book I actually would have done for free, because I'm just so fascinated with it. So to anyone out there, I'm not saying I'm going to solve the biggest case in British criminal history, but it is just all about, there's something about Whitechapel, not much, but something. I'm going to be doing it, and there's a Facebook page called There's Something About Whitechapel. So any more information you need, give that a like, and give me a follow on Twitter at JamieBoyle10, Jamie Boyle Author on Facebook. But yeah, there's going to be lots of, and also I'm going to be asking experts. So it's not just yes, I'm passionate. Yes, I'm motivated. Yes, it's something I'm greatly interested in. But I will be talking to a lot of Jack the Ripper experts, Whitechapel experts, London experts. Maybe a few famous people even there, but there's something about Whitechapel. It's going to be coming by myself, 2022. Thanks for your time. My haircut is coming on. I'm going back to that Arthur Fleck stroke Joker look. That fabulously offends the trolls, so I'm going to grow it back next couple of months. And then the lesbian comments will with the Jamie Boyle, he's just walked off the set in Prisoner Cell Block H. All that's going to come. But don't forget to click and subscribe. God bless, and thank you for putting up with my silly nonsense.